The Toxic Lady. Gloria Ramirez was rushed to the hospital on February 19th, 1994. She had a regular heartbeat and her blood pressure was very low. She was only 31 years old, but had cervical cancer. The doctors immediately linked this to her condition. They tried keeping her alive. They removed her shirt to defibrillator, and that's when they found this oily sheen on her skin that smelled of fruit and garlic. That is when one of the nurses complained of a burning sensation on her face and then fainted. Another one began to complain about breathing problems, and then another nurse fainted as well. Altogether, 23 of the 37 staff members that cared for Gloria had some type of symptom. The hospital was evacuated and Gloria died later that night. Till this day, no one knows what caused Gloria's death and the symptoms to the staff members.
This is a photo taken by Peter Biava. During their hike near the Santa Barbara Trail, he decided to take some photos. Unbeknownst to him, he caught someone else in the background. Can you see them? There. This is Sailor Gilliam's. Her and her friend Brendan Vega hiked the same area just the day before. It had gotten dark and an incident occurred where Gilliam broke her leg and ankle. With Gilliam unable to move forward, Brendan decided to go and look for help himself. Gilliam stayed behind and used her energy to scream for help. The very next day is when Peter and his friends accidentally found Gilliam. They contacted the proper authorities and a rescue began. She was extremely tired with almost no voice. It had been by chance that Peter and his friends found her. Sadly, Brendan Vega died while looking for help just 300 yards away. Today, Gilliam has made a full recovery and she even goes hiking, but always makes sure to stay on trail. This is how a man solved a missing persons case using Google Earth. A former resident of Wellington, Florida, was looking at his old neighborhood through the Google satellite feature. That's when he spotted what looked to be a submerged vehicle in a pond. That's when they reached out to the local sheriff's office. When the authorities pulled out the submerged vehicle, that's when they found skeletal remains inside. It had been submerged for over 22 years. The bones were examined and they identified the remains as William Moult. He had been declared missing since November 1997. The circumstances of how this incident occurred are still unknown. The ending to this story will freak you out. A contractor took up a job in Gainesville, Florida for this lonely old woman. He was doing some work in the crawl space, and that's when he found something so horrifying. He found jars upon jars of severed tongues. He was deeply disturbed, as anyone would be. He didn't confront the woman, but he immediately contacted the authorities. The authorities got there and found out that they were real human remains. Some were labeled since the 1960s. The authorities questioned the woman, and she stated that it was her ex-husband's. Not the tongues, but he was the reason why they were there. Ronald A. Bauman was actually a pathologist for the University of Florida. He was taking the specimens home to do some extra work. He put them in the crawl space so they can keep cool. And he just forgot about them. Something horrifying occurred on this very app. 3 teens were exploring a Seattle beach. While exploring, they found a black suitcase. They managed to get it open, and a powerful stench escaped. This shocked the teens, and they did the right thing and contacted the authorities. The authorities came and they made a horrifying discovery. There was a body inside the suitcase. This is still currently under investigation, and I hope the teens are okay. Grotesque Girl. A Redditor by the name of QuickDisc posted on Reddit about his stalker. He talks about how one night this girl showed up outside of his window. It startled him because of her features. They were completely abnormal. She had freakishly skinny and exaggerated facial features, and her body was contorted and twisted in a way that really disturbed him. She has come to his home every night since. He took a photo, and this is what he saw. A few days later, he talks about her returning in even worse condition. He took a photo before she completely turned around. As a few days pass, he says that she seems more and more infatuated with him. This is the last we hear of the Redditor, and we hope OP is okay.